Hey everyone, welcome to Let's Talk, the series that's turning more and more into reviews. This is your friendly neighborhood Birdman, and today we're talking about Shazam! Alright, to be completely honest, this was a film that I most certainly was not looking forward to, as the trailers for this thing were complete shit. They made this film look like a try-hard MCU knockoff, and that's not exactly what I want from my DCEU movies. I mean, I was intrigued by the comedic aspect, but I was worried about it being too over the top. Fortunately though, I got an opportunity for an early screening for this film, and I gotta say, it's pretty good. Shazam is a superhero film centering on the story of the orphaned Billy Batson, a streetwise 14-year-old that is searching for his mother. He finds himself adopted into a loving foster home, yet he feels like he doesn't belong. After running away from the school bullies, Billy finds himself on a subway train that is mysteriously transported to the lair of Shazam, an ancient wizard tasked with protecting Earth from the 7 deadly sins. Shazam deems Billy worthy of his power and grants him the role of champion, where upon shouting his name, he will have the wisdom of Solomon, the strength of Hercules, the stamina of Atlas, the power or lightning of Zeus, the courage of Achilles, and the speed of Mercury. Basically most of the powers of Superman. Using these abilities, Shazam must learn what it means to be a hero and prevent the 7 deadly sins from taking over and destroying humanity. Shazam stars Asher Angel as Billy Batson, Zachary Levi as Captain Marvel, that guy that's evil in every movie except The Kingsman as Dr. Sivana, and Jack Grazer, Ian Chen, Faith Herman, Jovan Armin, and Grace Fulton as the... Here's what I liked. The cast was absolutely fantastic. You really believe all these foster children are a family. They bounce off each other very well, and the little girl that plays Darla is absolutely adorable. She's going to melt your fucking heart. Jack Dylan Grazer is really good too. He provides much of the comedy in this film, and I'd say about 85% of his jokes land. Zachary Levi is hilarious and believable as Shazam, even if he can be a little cheesy at times. He really shows what it's like to be a kid in an adult's body, and he really has fun with the role. He reminds me a lot of Jason Momoa as Aquaman in that they're very happy to be here, and that's something that is very much welcome in the DCEU. Speaking of Aquaman, the film is set in the DC universe, and yes, that means Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman all inhabit this Earth as well. That being the case, the people of this world are somewhat used to superpowered beings, so when Shazam shows up, the public are basically indifferent to him. They're not in awe of this godlike being like in BVS or Man of Steel. What I like about this is that they show what it's like to be around a superhero from ground level. The movie also has some fun with the DCEU, with characters wearing Superman branded backpacks and Aquaman t-shirts, and there's even Batman the Animated Series era merchandise at toy stores, and this makes the DCEU not feel so grim and artificial. The film also pokes fun at Shazam's name, and these moments got big laughs from my theater. There's a really big moment in this film that I don't want to spoil, but it got a huge cheer from the audience, and I'm excited to see where the DCEU goes after this revelation. Okay, now here's the things that didn't work for me. The biggest one is how fake Shazam looks. I don't know what the hell they were thinking, but he looks really goofy and severely out of place. As a comic book fan, I love how faithful they were to the books with his costume, but it looks so plastic. Even worse is the CGI used to display some of his powers, namely flight. He looks like Play-Doh in the CGI scenes, and definitely looks like a man wearing wires in the practical scenes. These scenes are really jarring, and most people are going to notice them. Asher Angel is another disappointing aspect of this film, not because he isn't good, he's okay, but because he and Zachary Levi don't seem to be portraying the same character. Billy is Man of Steel Superman levels of grim, while Zachary Levi is basically a cartoon. They're completely inconsistent with each other, and that sort of stands out when they're shifting back and forth. The main villain is pretty weak too, and even though the plot is easy to follow and doesn't have too many holes, the conflict between Shazam and Dr. Sivana isn't interesting, and it only serves to have a big CGI superhero fight near the end. Other than that though, this film is really entertaining. Besides the villain, you actually care about these characters. It's actually quite funny and lighthearted, and the emotional beats really hit home. It's quite refreshing as a superhero film, being sandwiched between the presumably heart-wrenching and emotional Avengers Endgame and, frankly, disappointing other Captain Marvel film. It's never a slog because there's always something interesting happening, and as an MCU fan, I like that DC is doubling down on the humor, because while it can be a bit cheesy, the MCU proved that if you're going to give us characters that a lot of people aren't familiar with, you'd better be funny while doing it. A B. As always, thank you so much for watching this episode of Let's Talk. Have you seen Shazam? Let me know what you thought of it in the comment section below, and please remember to be mindful of spoilers. This is a movie that I recommend people check out, and I'd hate for the big moments to be spoiled for everyone. Anyway, this has been your friendly neighborhood Birdman, and I'll catch you on the next episode of Let's Talk.